this episode of Business Success, Graeme and Leanne Carling are returning to the UK, specifically London, to meet with an individual who built one of the most recognisable brands in the home maintenance sector in London, and who then went on to sell the company for a reported £140 million. This is, of course, Charlie Mullins, the founder of Pimlico Plumbers. You are watching Business Success. Business Success is the programme where Graeme and Leanne Carling discuss business with other industry leaders from around the world. Graeme and Leanne themselves building a group of companies through the strategy of company acquisition, which now has a multi-million-pound group turnover and employs hundreds of people across the country. Today, they are meeting Charlie Mullins, the founder of Pimlico Plumbers, a company he built to a turnover of £60 million per year and employed over 400 people. Charlie was given an OBE for his services to the plumbing industry in 2015, but in 2021 made the decision to sell the company for a reported £140 million. With Charlie is his fiancé Raquel, who has spent her life in the music industry and is about to embark on a significant period in her career. Whilst Graeme and Leanne are in the business of buying companies, in this episode we will be talking to Charlie and Raquel about the lessons learnt in business and also the experience of selling the company.
Charlie, Raquel, thanks very much for inviting us into your lovely home here on the banks of the Thames. Delighted to be here.
It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much for inviting us.
So, you know, Charlie, one of the things we want to start with is you just sold your business, 16, 18 months ago almost, and for a huge sum of money. Tell me, the process of, what did that feel like going through the sale process? And it was just coming out or still at the tail end or during the pandemic. How did that feel to you in the process of going through that? You know, you started the business in 1979. To sell your baby, how was that?
41 years down the line, yeah. It's a massive thing, but obviously the amount of money that I sold it for, made a lot of difference. It was one of them offers I don't think I could turn down. I think it was the right time. And they say don't say how much it's sold for, but it's 140 odd mil or something, and that's just something you can't really turn down. I think, and it's an amazing thing because you never think you're going to part with it. And I've been, ever since I know sort of Raquel, she even said to me, I just don't see that you're going to get rid of it. And I've got no regrets with it, that's for sure. And the money's come in handy, that's for sure. And life's wonderful on it, but, what does it feel like? I mean, it's quite frightening, to be honest, because you don't think you can do it. As many times I was stopping and starting and, they're asking you questions and they're knocking your business and, all to get a better price. And, I didn't deal with the sale with it too much, fortunately, because I would have just walked away and told them to stuff it, like kind of thing. But, my son and other members of the family that work there, they sort of more dealt with it. And, I think it was the right move, the right time, for sure, because not many people achieve that, and it's it's an hard thing, I think, to part with it. And I know many people that couldn't, but as I say, undoubtedly the money come into it, and we've all got to sell by date. 41 years and in the business, and it's fortunately I'm still very busy and getting on with other things. But great move, I think, wasn't it?
Well, you got 140 plus million reasons to be happy, I suppose. That comes in handy. But in terms of the when did you decide then? What was the process in your mind? Did you decide? Or was it something that just came out the blue? How did you decide to sell the business?
Well, I think that I'm probably 4 or 5 years ago it first came in my mind that the business was booming, and to make it go even better, we needed to really step it up and maybe go national, even talking about going in Dubai. And I started to sort of think to myself, to do that, I've got to spend at least another 5 years working 24/7. And have I really got the warmth anymore to want to do it? And so I was weighing all that up, and I, if I'm being honest, I felt that you know, I was holding it back, you know, at this stage that, you know, we could really go national, we could really take on, you know, a broad kind of thing. Turning these offers down to get involved in it, and I just thought to myself, you know, I've either got to give it my best shot or sort of jump ship. And, you know, and again, I think we've all got a sell-by date, you know, and we know money's very important, but obviously it's not, you know, I'd hate to have died in the workplace, you know what I mean? I mean, a lot of people said that's what I do, you know, we're all like workaholics, and we're all workaholics sitting here kind of thing. And so it was a big decision. I mean, you know, I mean, funny enough, I'm going to just doing a story shortly in the press about my biggest mistake I made in business, and the biggest mistake I made in business is selling my business. Right. You know, even though it's a wonderful thing to have done, but you know, when I think about it now, I could have, you know, gone national. You know what we're like. It's not necessarily about getting pound notes. It's more about, you know, proving what you can do, isn't it?
And were you approached to sell, or did you market the business to sell?
We'd always been approached over the years, always, and you know, there's no way I was ever going to sell it, kind of thing. And you know, you think, what liberty these people are trying to take this business off you. But then all of a sudden we sort of put a package together and said, well, let's just kind of see. And, you know, I thought I'd get about 100 mil. And then, you know, when the offers was coming in, it was, you know, getting better and better. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, you know. And then, you know, we'd just gone through COVID. Yeah. And there's definitely going to be a tough time coming up, you know, with you know, all this COVID, all the payments they give out. And things were getting tougher. But, you know, also we was actually booming, do you know what I mean? And you know, it's a big decision, you know, big decision. But if I had it now, it'd be worth more dosh. Right. And you know, I think we just had to expand more. And I had about 10 members of families there, you know. Oh yeah. And it's an hard thing to do because you know, you think they're all relying on you, but you know, there's other things out there which I've discovered there. You know, I've got involved with Raquel on the music side of things. You know, I don't know nothing about music, but obviously I know about business, and that's been quite helpful. And that's going very well on that. It's probably something I never thought I'd do. Yeah. I'm doing a bit more property these days, getting involved, buying it mainly for myself, or for family or whatever. And that's all wonderful to do. And then the travelling side of it. Yeah. So, yeah.
How long did the process go then from when you decided you were going to sell? Did you go through like a competitive process? So, you know, you went to the market and there was, you know, various interested parties. Was that, how long did the from me say, right, I'm up for it. I think I'm going to go, you know, explore the selling option to instructing somebody to do that for you. How long did that process take?
I would say it's probably over 4 to 5 years because of the break of the COVID. It was a bit like, you know, you've got something that's worth a lot of money, then all of a sudden it looks like you haven't got anything. So it's quite a long process, and if I'm being honest, we tried it once before, put the package together, and some people was coming in to buy it, but they was being a bit mean, you know what I mean? So I just come away from it. I thought, you know, there's no way we're giving it away. Yeah. And then we come away from it, and then went again a couple of years later. But overall, I would say the process took about, because of the break in COVID, about 4 years. But it's a long process anyhow, and it's probably, you know, it's probably one of the worst things that you look forward to. I mean, there's only the one good bit about it is when, you know, you put the money in your bank. Yeah.
You mentioned that if you weren't heavily involved in the sale or the process of the sale, you wouldn't have went through with it. Is there any advice that you could give? Because some of our, or a lot of our viewers will be looking to exit their business. Is there any advice that you can give to be prepared for that?
Well, I mean, my sort of son sort of dealt with it all. Who's been like CEO of the company, and you know, for many years, been about, I don't know, 30 odd years, I think he's been there, and so he dealt with it. So he could put up with the people going, oh, you know, your dad's got this wrong, and he shouldn't have done this, and shouldn't have done it. And he's looking, I'm thinking, you're having a laugh, and you're with the biggest independent plumbing company in London, most successful, most recognised in the world, making loads of money, and you're telling us, you know, we shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. He said, if you was there, you'd have told him to just fuck off, kind of thing, you know. So the advice I would give, if you've built that business up, is definitely get a good agent. The agent, Cavendish, they were absolutely brilliant, absolutely superb. Yeah. And they actually told me to stay away, keep out of the business. They said, because you'll just go mad. You know, they said, you were just, you know, people are coming in, oh, he shouldn't have said this, he shouldn't have done this. And, you know, they didn't seem to be praising anything.
Yeah.
And you know,
Who was this? This was the buying
all
company.
the buyers.
Oh, the buyers.
What happened? They shortlisted the buyers down.
Yeah. Yeah.
The real serious ones, and then got them to talk with their money and not their mouth, kind of thing. Make sure they stack up. And now they're competing with each other. But of course, you know, certain ones were knocking it.
Yeah.
The Americans that bought it neighbourly, they didn't knock it at all. They wanted it badly.
Right.
But other people were trying to get a deal on it. And my son said, you know, even you know, he said if you was there, you would not sell it to that guy just to not let him have it. But this outfit, they seemed good. You know, they're the biggest home service company in the world, and it did look like they was going to take it further and really make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just shows you a lot of people could be really, because they're picking at your baby, they're
Yeah.
pulling
That's right,
apart
yeah.
your
They're
baby, and
attacking
you
it,
know,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, what right have these people got to be,
Yeah.
you know, and it was crazy really, and you know, but they were still very close. At the end, it was all about bidding, and you know, I think I would have picked the Americans because it did look like, you know, they got a good pedigree, and you know, I didn't want the company to, you know, just disappear, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think I picked the right people at the time, yeah.
So they're obviously private equity backed, KKR owned Neighbourly.
Yeah.
What have they? Has there been any changes? Well, with the,
Yeah.
What's happened since? What have they? Has it?
Yeah,
went
well,
up?
you know, obviously being there that long, I still get
Yeah.
a few sort of the staff come on to you and sort of, you know, saying that, you know, it's never as good since you're not there, which is good to hear. And they've changed so much. They're trying to change vans and changing the way we work, the personal service. And, you know, allegedly it's not doing as well as it should be doing at the moment because of changing that. But what it does prove to you is that you've got it right, because you're never sure how right you've got it. And, you know, you've always got staff that saying, oh, don't like this, don't like that. But obviously majority like it. And they're staying now, the staff saying, well, one thing for sure, you know, Charlie and his family had it right here because they was all earning bundles of money and never out of work, great name, great reputation. But somehow they're changing, you know, our format was very personal service, and I think they've tried to put it all in about numbers now. And, you know, I'm sure it works for many businesses, but not for that business, it won't work.
So in terms of, if you go back, Charlie, so for growing your business, clearly marketing has been a really successful part of it for you in the construction industry in particular. When we say this tongue in cheek, you know, our businesses, we have businesses in the construction sector in Scotland, and people say, well, you know, the Scottish construction sector is still stuck in the 60s, but we didn't realise it was the 1860s. You know, it was that far back, and certainly in terms of marketing and IT and all that stuff. You've used, how important was the marketing side of it for you? Not just when you were growing your business, but what value did it add to the business, do you feel, at the sale, even because of the profile?
Well, look, the marketing was why it was such a great business, no two ways about that. I mean, you can have the best business in the world, and if no one don't know about it, there's no point. And, you know, I took on a market manager years ago, about 30 odd years, stayed with me all that time, and he just said, it's all about recognition. You know, whether you be on a billboard, whether you be on the telly, with radio, don't matter where you are, and if it happens to be for the right reason, then that's it. So once I'd got that in my mind, recognition, we just, wherever we could portray ourselves, we would. And then, of course, when we got involved with proper PR, it just changed overnight, if I'm being honest. We started proper PR in 2000 when we bought a new building. And, you know, we all learned from somebody. A company came down from Leeds, and she's got a very big sort of door company, electric doors and garages, and she said, you know, can I come down and have some pictures done? Yeah, of course. And she said, it being a magazine, she said, who does your PR? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, PR? We're a plumbing company. She said, well, you must have PR. Yeah, no. Anyhow, she used a company called Recognition, and I still use them today. I don't know successful business now that haven't got formal PR. You know, and it's amazing. And, you know, it worked well in the end. That's what I was doing, was the PR with them, and it's a great job anyhow. You know what I mean? I mean, it's lovely to be recognised, and you know, people are listening to you and inspired by you. So I think it's an amazing move. You know, PR is so important. We wouldn't be the company we was without it.
And do you think that added value in terms of the profile of the company at the end for like you know, Neighbourly, you know, great company in London, but you know, great brand, great name.
Yeah, well that's it. Look, you know, you're big business people yourself. You know, the importance of a brand, and we built a brand in plumbing, and if you said to anybody in London, name a plumbing company, they only come up with Pimlico.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a priceless sort of thing. But of course, I never set out to do that. You just don't set out to do this. And I'm a great believer. We all learn from somebody. We see someone do something, and and like I say, this guy I took on, market manager, he just said it's called recognition, and I keep it simple. And funny enough, the company I use is called Recognition.
Yeah.
What a great name.
Yeah.
And I've used various other ones, over the years, and they've all been great. I think it's priceless.
Yep.
I mean, you might give them $5,000 a month, they get you a couple of telly slots worth $100,000 a time, documentaries. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But funnily enough, a lot of people, they don't see the value of it because you can't.
Yeah, you're not getting immediate. Yeah, you're not getting.
But if we're in the paper or we, together now, we do anything, a story, and then all of a sudden it has that knock-on effect.
Yeah.
And it's going from strength to strength. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think we get more known now than when I was actually doing the plumbing. Now it's like you sold that company, or you guys are on the telly. So it's a priceless sort of thing. I think for any business that wants to be out there and be successful, PR without a doubt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What are you guys doing now then? What are you up to? You've life's good. What are you two up to?
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter, so I'm working on my album. So I've got a team. I built a team of 20 people now, roughly, and I'm working with some hit producers. I think I'm 3 out of 5 over the last 3 months now. Got 3 more to go. And that's just going amazing. We've been to a few massive events in the last quarter of last year, and I mean, like, we've met a lot of people, and
it's really starting to lift off, I think, for Raquel now. She's got a new manager, Hilary Shaw, who's ex-Girls Aloud manager, and all of this. Obviously she's got the talent and the songwriting and the looks and all the bits that go with it. And but through the business, we've met so many people over the years, and somebody knows somebody, and now it's been introduced to Hilary Shaw, ex-Girls Aloud, and she's just taking it to a different level.
The journey's been amazing. Like, I mean, I was a cover artist in Dubai, so I know you guys are from Dubai, and I lived there for a long time, and I was just, I worked hard as a cover musician, but I was. Like you said, there's always a sell-by date, and I kind of had to get off the merry-go-round which I was on, and
that was my advice I'll give you.
And that was actually Charlie. So Charlie got me off that roundabout, and
I said to her, she's been doing it years, and I said, like, this is, I don't know nothing about music, but I've obviously got some business brain there, and I just said, you're just going round in circles, and you've got to stop and start again.
I'm very grateful that I have somebody who I can be like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Or what do you think of that person, kind of thing? And that is, priceless for me. I mean, just to have somebody in your corner like that with a really, really good business mind, as you know.
So I know nothing at all about music. I know I look like I'm out of work Rod Stewart. He's from up your way, isn't he? But again, I put Raquel in touch with a PR company, Keith Bishop Associates, very much in Soho, in the music industry. And it's just had that knock-on effect, I was giving her this advice, and it was starting to change for her. I said, you've got to pick and choose, like, who you work for, and you've got to make sure you get the right money, and come away from all this cutthroat business. Because when I run the plumbing, we never got involved in this cut price nonsense. I'm a great believer.
You start to say no, that's the thing. You start to realise, your worth, and then you start to say no, which is good advice, really, because, you get a lot of people that are just, they'll take anything. And a few reasons, that can be good, because obviously people have to make a living, especially in the music industry. And it's very hard to make a living in the music industry. But a few reasons why saying no works is, one, you will then be introduced and be put in a environment where you'll make more money, because that's where you've felt that you deserve to be, because your worth, so you're going to ask for more money. But also it helps the rest of the people in the music community as well. It helps them to make more money. Because as soon as you get somebody, and this actually happened in Dubai, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to leave Dubai, because, you know, it just became so oversaturated, and, you know, I was making loads of money at one point in Dubai, and then all of a sudden you get all these agents come in just booking, you know, Tom, Dick and Harry. I don't know who they are, but like, I mean, and then all your money starts going down. And I mean, you know, Dubai's it's an expensive place to live, and you know, at the time I was there, we lost like a lot of great musicians who were there for years and years, when, you know, even when Dubai first started live entertainment, and then it just all went wrong because, you know, people were just accepting pittance for it.
I mean, we spoke about this a lot, didn't we, about what you're worth and you know, and why sell yourself cheap kind of thing. You know, and I think it's the worst thing you do. And I said, you know, just, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm praising myself now because I know what I was telling her. You've got to forget all that, like, you know, cheap stuff and all that. People always pay for quality, and if you've got it, and it's proved dividends. And once she came to London,
which was really hard. As much as, you know, I was lucky to be in that position, but it was a massive transition for me. But you've got to bite the bullet, and I think you've got to do that in a lot of businesses as well. You've got to take risks, and I think that was a big risk for me because I'd built up years and years of you know, my contacts and my venues and, you know, different F&B managers and you know, I just had this. I knew how to hustle for gigs. I knew how to go and get work 7 days a week if I wanted to. And I had to go, I've got to let you go now. And that was like letting go of my baby, you know. That was my little business. But that also moved me on to another fantastic journey. And, you know, I thank you for that.
You know, this year, there's no two ways. I mean, I'm confident about things anyhow, but I'm also realistic. And there ain't no two ways about it. I'll be releasing, it's called an EP now, isn't it? And it's going to be successful. And there's no two ways about it. She's going to have hit records. The management team around her, and, you know, the PR starting now, and, you know, getting some stuff lined up and that, and, you know.
It doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's another thing to, you know, another bit of advice is it's persistence and consistency, and you know, it's sacrifice. Like, I love that word sacrifice because it's you do have to dedicate your time, your energy to make something amazing, and but it doesn't happen.
And not everyone is willing to sacrifice. I think
it's like in business, and no one gets to the top without. You know, there's casualties on the way, and I noticed in my business casualties, it could be your health. I mean, fortunately that was all right. A few wives on the way, and you know, you fall out with family and friends. You know, a lot of things have got. You know, it's okay. I don't mean, you know, I get on well with my family, except ex-wives. But you know, something goes on the way, I think, in business, and whether it's your health, whether it's family, whether it's your marriages, whether it's you know, your finances, you know, you can lose your house, you can lose anything in it, and so I think you know, business ain't all about just making money. You know, it's also about, you know, enjoying it, and you know, and it's great when people learn off you. I mean, you know, it's, you know, you get it all the time. People say, "Can you give me a bit of advice?" There's no magic formula, that's for sure. No. And I think one of the important things that a lot of people leave out of being successful is hard work.
Hard work,
You know, I know you know this because you wouldn't be there, but the thing they leave out is hard work. I've always tried to explain sort of, you know, how to be sort of successful in business, and the best way I've always best describe it is, it's like making a cake. It's like you put ingredients in, like a bit of PR in, and a bit of like dressing good, and a bit of like, you know, customer service, and a bit of quality of this, and then you take a bit out and add a bit more to that, and eventually you get a good mix. And that's how I sort of trying to say to somebody, to get a successful business, you know, obviously lots of hard work's got to go in there, you know what I mean, and lots of PR, and lots of good, you know, sort of people that are helping or involved with you, but. You know, we all know there's no shortcut, and I didn't realise until all these years down the line, business is a long-term venture. You know, anybody that comes to the front too quick, ain't going to stay there. And I remember some record, I don't know what they call producers or people saying to Roll, get this record out, get it out.
Yeah.
And she now, a manager said now, you'd have got that out and finished. You know, there's so many ways of doing it on this social media. I mean, you know, if I'm being honest, I can only just about turn the computer on, but I've got enough brains that I can employ people who can do magic with it, you know what I mean? And it don't cost $2 bob, doesn't it? They put out, you know, we're selling this, we're advertising that, and just an amazing market space out there for nothing. And that's what you've got to do. But, you know, again, I know it's an old saying, you've got to be different, you've got to be, again, like yourself, it's a million singers, and you've got to have the drive. You know, I mean, if you could buy enthusiasm, you know what I mean? And I don't think you can buy that. I don't think you can buy it. You've got to have it. You've got to want to succeed. Of course, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to be realistic. I'm not going to use that saying, if I can make it, so can anybody. I don't think that's right. But what I do believe is it's a level playing field out there. And, you know, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it.
Charlie, when you sold your business, Graeme and I believe in celebrating all wins, because, you know, you can go through some crap times, but when you win...
And you win big.
And you win big, you celebrate. So we bought a company, to give you an example, we bought a company through lockdown, and it was so long drawn out. We couldn't go anywhere, and I think the deal actually completed at 11 o'clock at night, so we couldn't go out.
Didn't go anywhere.
But we are big believers in celebrating all wins. So what did you do the night you sold?
Yeah, well, look, you're right, it's exciting. You've got a lot of tension building up, you know, and my lawyers, Miss Conderay, you know, was brilliant in it, and because a lot of these big deals stop and start, don't they? Are you going to have it? And then you're like, do I really want to sell? And you know, and do they really want to buy it? And it dragged around a little bit, and then, you know, he rang me up. It was quite late, I think, on a particular day, because it should have completed Friday. Then it should have been Monday.
One of them. Close of business Friday.
And I'm like,
and when it doesn't happen, you got the weekend.
And to be honest, you don't believe it's going to happen.
No,
in the
that's
end.
right. Yep.
And then the lawyer rang me up and said, the money's in your bank. Yeah, and well, I won't say that one. And yeah, and I said, well, I said, because I kept it fairly quiet of selling it, you know what I mean? Because
you told me.
You know, I said, right, it's sold this gone. She went, oh my God, you're joking? No. Anyhow, we was in Marbella, and we went out, we was out, and I even paid for the drinks that night.
So I bought him one back.
And you know what? Many times we go out at the same place, and you always bump into people you know, because I think when you're successful in business, people know you. And it's only just sold, and I had a few people coming up to me. It's all on the paper, in the papers, on the telly. I go, God blimey, you know, I remember some guy saying you've had a really good week. I said, well, it ain't going to get any better than that, is it? You know what I mean? And you know, as much as I say it's the biggest regret, it's also the best thing I've done. I don't know if I'm wording that right. In other words, you know, of course we want to be bigger and better than anybody, and you know, but you know, I ain't going to go skint, that's for sure. And if I do, then you know, it'll be rolling with the number one hit. You know what I mean?
To get the songs out.
So we went out and celebrated, and yeah, but you just don't realise. I mean, I'm sitting here now and I'm thinking the same thing, and I'm thinking, you just can't believe it, because you know, you know, I know we've done well for many years in the business, but never, you know, you just cannot believe that type of dosh. You know what I mean? I mean, it's you know, and a good thing again there. You know, it ain't just helped us. I have to say, it's helped many other people, and you know, obviously,
well, you changed a lot of people's lives, Charlie.
Yeah, it's you know, obviously you help your family, the ones that talk to you, and you know, there's a lot of people benefited from it, and a lot of people benefited when we had the business, and I think that's important. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, there's that old saying, there's no point in being the richest person in the graveyard, and you know, been in business, and that's where I am today. That's where we are today, and you know, there's no business like your own business.
Yeah, good. Charlie, Raquel, thank you very much. It's been a great chat, great discussion, and you know, thank you for having us in your beautiful home here.
That's it for this episode, but tune in next time to Business Success with Graeme and Leanne Carling.